Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing our overview and review of the new Adeptus Sororitas book. In the last video we went over the stratagems. In the video prior to that we went over the orders themselves, so if you haven't seen those two videos, please go back and check them out. Before we get started, I do want to thank Games Workshop for sponsoring this video and sponsoring the channel by giving us some really nice stuff, including all of the new miniatures, which we'll be doing a full review of these in the very near future. In fact, we'll be doing them this week. So, jumping right back into it, we have the Blessings of the Faithful. So, if your army is Battleforged and includes any Adeptus Sororitas detachments, excluding auxiliary, super heavy, fortification networks, then when you are mustering your army, you can upgrade any Canoness, and of course my phone decides to go off, or Palatine model in your army by giving them one of the Blessings of the Faith chosen from those presented here. Okay, all right, that sounds cool. It's like an upgrade for like Chief Apothecary, Chapter Master, and things like that. Each time you give a model a Blessing of the Faithful, its power rating is increased by the amount shown on the table below. If you are playing matched play or a game that is using point limits, then use the points value, obviously. Okay. Named characters cannot be given a Blessing of the Faithful. Makes sense. We're not going to read about Crusade Force. Each Blessing of the Faithful has 2 associated abilities. Ooh. The second is a Miraculous Ability. Okay. Okay, so are these them? Oh, they are. So we get more superpowers for our Canonesses. Please forgive me, I have been up all night, so let's just jump right into this. Word of the Emperor is +2 power rating if you're using that, and +40 points. And it reads, at the start of your fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. That unit is not eligible to fight with in that phase until all eligible models in your army have done so. So really cool for a Canoness to always swing first. When an enemy unit is within miracle range. Okay, so there's the miracle range down here. Alrighty. Each time a model with the friendly order keyword, order core, or order character unit makes a melee attack against that unit, invulnerable saves cannot be taken against that attack. Damn, that is powerful. Okay, that's ridiculous. They just flat out no invo saves. And considering what we've seen with order core units such as the Palatine, not the Palatines, the Paragon Warsuits, and things like the Celestian Sacristans and Repentia, they're going to be nasty as hell. Although I do have to check if Repentia are actually core units. Let's do that really quickly. Otherwise my squirrel brain will keep focusing on them. So, where are you, Repentia? They use those horrendous models, don't they? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they are core. Okay. Cool. So, just a permanent null zone bubble within possibly 6 inches? Oh, so that's how it's activated. Okay, so maybe I should read this. To use a Blessing of the Faithful Miraculous Ability, you must, in your command phase, first discard 1 miracle dice. This ability is then activated and lasts until the start of your next command phase. Each Miraculous Ability can only be activated once per battle, and you cannot activate more than 1 Miraculous Ability per battle round. Miraculous Abilities affect the enemies, affect enemy models or units within miracle range. It is determined by the value of the miracle dice that was discarded, as shown on the table below. Note that while similar in many regards to aura abilities, miraculous abilities are not affected by abilities that affect aura abilities, and vice versa. So Bellicor doesn't negate these, which is kind of insane, to be honest. So one is just null zone for one turn in the game. You pop this turn 2 when you're in combat, or turn 1 if you're Bloody Rose and you went second. Your turn 1. There we go. Big brain words. And you just have a 6-inch aura ability of no, everything dies. Honestly, that's horrific. Like, that's honestly horrifying. For 40 points, I probably will definitely take that. Although keeping a Canoness alive past turn 2 is always a bit difficult. But if you have a melee army, that's not too hard. Especially if you have Sacristans. I think this one's just God tier. Like, if you can get this ability off, you won the game. Like, there is nothing that can survive close combat from Sisters of Battle without their invulnerable saves. Because every one of their weapons is going to pretty much negate any and all, like, saving throws that they have. Or they'll be saving on 6s. Okay, the second one. Add 1 to the strength and damage characteristic of all melee weapons this model is equipped with, excluding relics. Alright, so base strength 4 is pretty cool. Well, not base strength, but strength +1. Then you can take like a blessed blade, go up by strength +3, so you can have strength 6 with a blessed blade, which is pretty cool. When a friendly order core or order character unit is within miracle range of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6, on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. So really good if you have Repentia or Sacristans again, and you have a lot of attacks that you're throwing into something. But overall, I think there's a little bit better abilities in here. I'm not saying that it's bad. This is honestly amazing. Especially if you just throw it on a Palatine and it's only an extra 25 points. That's a lot of points. Okay, Divine Deliverance. At the start of your opponent's command phase, select 1 enemy unit within 6 inches of this model and select 1 aura ability that it has. Roll 3d6. If the result is equal to or greater than that enemy unit's leadership characteristic, then until the start of your opponent's next command phase, that enemy loses all aura abilities. I'm sorry, your rerolls are just gone. Your Death Guard abilities are just gone. That's kind of crazy. You can even shut off the... You can shut off a Demon Prince. You can shut off a Herald with that. You can shut off a ton of stuff. Like, imagine shutting off a Gilliman. That would be really funny. Miraculous Ability. While a friendly order core unit or order character model is within miracle range of this model, each time that model makes a ranged attack. God, my voice sucks right now. Okay, sorry about that. My voice is just dying. I've been going through this book all night. Okay, when a friendly order core or order character model is within miracle range of this model, each time a model makes a ranged attack, if that attack causes an enemy model to be destroyed, until the end of that turn, subtract 1 from the enemy's unit's leadership characteristic. A unit's leadership characteristic cannot be reduced more than 3 in this way. Honestly, it's probably one of the weaker ones, but that first ability is ridiculous, so still worth taking if you can get it. Too bad it's not an aura ability, because then we could affect this with Book of St. Catherine, which we still need to go over the relics. The Emperor's Grace. At the start of each of your command phases, this model is healed and regains D3 lost wounds. Okay, so you're never gonna die. Especially if you combined it with that one ability we saw earlier. Where is it? It was like impervious to damage. Tear them down. Where is it? I know you're in here. Come on. There we go. Where is that one? Impervious to pain. If you combine it with this, you're getting a canoness that'll never die. Okay, Miracle Ability or Miraculous Ability. While a friendly Order core unit or Order character unit is within miracle range of this model, each time an attack is made against that unit, your opponent cannot reroll the hit rolls, cannot reroll the wound rolls, and cannot reroll the damage rolls. That's how many points is that? Plus 20? That's honestly really good, especially if you're running Paragon Warsuits, just so you can survive a little bit better. Righteous Judgment. Each time you select a target for a model's ranged weapons, you can ignore the Lookout Serve rule. Okay, that's really good. Each time a model makes a ranged attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target, in addition to any normal damage. That's pretty good. Especially if your canoness is rocking like something like a Combi Plasma, which has a very long range. I say very long range, it's only 24 inches, which is still long range. But if you're rocking a Combi Melta and you can see a character within 12 inches, you might just be able to pop them. And how many points is this? Righteous Judgment is 25? Okay. While a friendly Order core unit or Order character model is within miracle range of this model, each time this model makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against those attacks. Okay. Being within 6 inches of them is ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. If you pop and get a 6-inch aura ability on them, or you just surround them with like 2 Battle Sister squads and just blast away, that could be really, 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 really good. Okay, and then the last one is each time an attack is made against this model, subtract 1 from the attacker's wound roll. Miraculous Ability. While the friendly Order core or Order character unit is within miracle range of this model, each time a ranged attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 from the attacker's hit roll. Okay, so just giving yourself -1 to hit, which is always useful for keeping units alive. I think these are priced a bit high, except for this one. This one is definitely worth it. This is the best one. Like, hands down, just null zone. 1 turn in null zone is amazing. A guaranteed null zone, that's absolutely insane. That's going to win you games. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. That wins you games. Okay, then we have Warlord Traits. There's nothing else, right? Yep. Warlord Traits. And then we have the Hymns of Battle, because we have preachers and priests and everything. So, first one we have is Inspiring Order. Or Inspiring... Yeah, whatever. Each time this Warlord entombs a hymn or uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range, you can add 3 inches to the range of that hymn or ability. This does not affect miracle range. Ah, damn it, that's exactly what I was going to do. That's the exact thing that I was going to say. Just use it on the miracle one. Get a 9-inch null zone. That'd be insane. This Warlord has the following ability, Inspiring Orator? Whatever. While a friendly Order unit is within 6 inches, Order core unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, that unit can ignore the combat attrition tests, ignores the combat attrition penalties for being under half strength. That's okay. That's not great. I'm whatever about that one. Next one is Righteous Rage. Each time this Warlord makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit and you can reroll the wound rolls. Or wound roll. That amazing. Just you put that on a Bloody Rose Canoness and you go blender time into things. Spin to win. Executioner of Heretics. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic of models in that unit. Each time a combat attrition test is taken, subtract 1 from the combat attrition test. This can actually be really good. So what I'm thinking is you get close combat canoness, you run them in with a sacristan squad, or you run them in with a paragon warsuit squad. You rip apart things, and then all of them are going to fail their combat attrition test. It's pretty decent, honestly. And then they're failing on 1s, 2s, and 3s. So that can actually be really good. You can make a squad of Space Marines disappear with that. Is it likely? No, not really. But you can get rid of a lot of things with it. Beacon of Faith, let's see if this changed. At the start of your command phase, if this warlord is on a battlefield, you gain 1 miracle dice. Amazing. The miracle dice can only be used when your warlord performs an act of faith or uses a miraculous ability and is not used at the start of your next command phase. It is discarded. Wow, this suddenly went from amazing to garbage. This miracle dice is used to perform an act of faith, even if another unit in your army already has the ability to perform an act of faith this phase. Wow, that went from being really good to kind of garbage. Like, I used to always take a second warlord just to get the Beacon of Faith ability, but now that I have to use it on my warlord, I'm not too impressed by that. Speaking of, we don't know what miracle dice do yet. I'm hoping that's in here very soon. We got the relics, we got the chapter approved rules, and yeah, I'm not seeing something for using. Let's get past here. Oh, there they are. No, that's Sacred Rites. Data sheets. Acts of Faith. There they are. Okay, we'll have to go over that. Okay, so Indomitable Belief or Ability. While a friendly Order Corps infantry unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, so it's only affecting infantry, that the invulnerable save of models in that unit received from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1 to a minimum of 4+. That's still a really good one. It's not going to work on your Paragon Warsuits, but that's okay. It's not going to be terrific. But your Sacristans are already getting a 4-up invo. So it still affects Repentia. It's still going to affect your core units. It's still going to affect your giant blobs of 15 sisters. So it's still really good. It's probably going to be the one that I choose, to be honest. Either that or Righteous Rage. Purity of Will. This warlord can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase, as described with the Shield of Faith ability. Add 3 to the Deny the Witch of this warlord. That's actually really good. I do like this in case you go up against a psychic army. These are always really good, especially if you have the Sacred Rite, if it's still in here. Let's see. Sacred Rite, is there the one that, each army unit with the Shield of Faith ability to take a Deny the Witch test. If the result of the test was an unmodified result of a 5, or is greater than the result of the psychic test, Deny the Witch is passed. Holy crap, that got really good. Never mind, you don't even need it. That's just really good. Holy crap, getting a whole army that just denies on a 5+. I gotta reread that just to make sure. But honestly, these two are pretty good, and I'm really liking Righteous Rage. The Executioner of Heretics is really decent. Beacon of Faith, I think, is kind of useless at this point, as those miracle dice are going to get mixed in with the rest of your miracle dice, and it's going to be a lot of bookkeeping to try to keep track of all of that. And honestly, I think you're going to be worrying about more stuff with your sisters than that. And the Inspiring Order ability is cool. I guess you put this on like an Amagifier, like to increase her aura ability to 9 inches. That's where I would use it. An Amagifier or a priest. Because you can give a priest a warlord ability, and then you can use a a command point to give another Warlord ability. And if you're playing 2000, you can have 3 Warlords on the field. So there's that. So these are the ones that I like. I think I like Righteous Rage, So Indomitable Belief is always my go-to. That's going to be my number 1 on this list. Righteous Rage is going to be my number 2. Inspiring Orders is going to be number 3. Number 4 is going to be Purity of Will. And this one largely depends on my opponent's army. Okay, going over the hymns of battle. If this hymn is inspiring, so we got the War Hymn. Select one Adeptus Ministorum Core, Ministorum Character, or Engine of Redemption unit within 6 inches of the priest. Until the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of those models. So no longer is priest just passively giving the +1. So just take the priest from Imperial Guard and you get that ability. But we're not going to talk about that. The fact that you can do that. But I'm assuming that they want the priest to be updated to the one in this book. So what is its inspiring ability? Okay, let's see. All Adeptus Ministorum priests know war hymns. In addition, before the battle, generate an additional hymn, if any, for priest models that have the hymns, yada 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 yada. You can either roll a d6 to generate each war hymn, probably just choose randomly, re-rolling if you get doubles, or you can just select them. If a priest model has the Cult Imperialis keyword, you can either roll 1d3 to refrain from blazing piety, to generate a war hymn randomly, or you can select one of the following war hymns to know. They don't tell you what their war hymns go off on, so let's see if the priests themselves actually tell you. This model knows war hymns and one other. Yep. In your command phase, this model is on the battlefield. It can intune one hymn it knows and has already been intuned. Then a friendly model is roll 1d6 on a 3+ that hymn is inspiring. Okay, so it's a 3+ to use these abilities. Okay. Which the war hymn is actually one of the best. Refrain blazing piety. Okay. If this hymn is inspiring, select one enemy unit that is within 12 inches and visible to the priest. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. I'm sorry, just I 3-up D3 mortal wounds for no reason. If that unit has the chaos keyword, instead suffers 3 mortal wounds. Again, that's just D3 mortal wounds. Every turn this guy can just throw out D3 mortal wounds as if it's nothing. I'm sorry, that's really good. Course of Spiritual Fortitude. If this hymn is inspiring, select one friendly Adeptus Ministorum core, Adeptus Ministorum character, or Engine of Redemption within 6 inches of the priest. If that unit or its models are being affected by a psychic power manifested by the enemy's models, its effects of those psychic powers or that unit model so psychic powers just end. Roll a d6 on a 3+, you select a unit, and just psychic powers that are affecting them, gone. You just stop caring. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit and the models it contains are not affected by any psychic powers manifested by the enemy. So yeah, just, I don't want to be smited. No smiting. That's rude and uncalled for. Use this, don't get smited. Like honestly, you can just shut off smite because they are the closest target and there's no legal target for smite at that point, so smite just fizzles, I guess. Huh. That could be really dirty if you take a 15-woman squad, line them all up in front of line them up by rows of 2, in front of your army and then just keep casting this on them so your opponent can't smite through them, which could be really funny, and they can deal a devastating amount of damage, especially with all the other abilities this Codex has. If this hymn is inspiring, add 1 to the priest's model's strength and attack characteristics. You're never using this one. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of models of melee weapons used by the priest is equipped with, excluding relics. At the end of the fight phase, the priest is within engagement range. It can fight an additional time. This, garbage. Don't bother with it. It's purely garbage. You're not going to be attacking with a priest. Not even the named ones, who actually doesn't appear in this book, which is interesting. I really thought that the Blackstone Fortress ones would appear in this book, but they don't. But yeah, you're not attacking with these. I'm sorry. You're just not. I mean, strength 5, AP minus 2 damage. If you want to get him into combat, you're an idiot, because he's just gonna die. I guess this one can be useful, but honestly, there's so many more that are just better. Litanies of Enduring Faith. If this hymn is inspiring, select 1 Adeptus Sororitas core unit, character unit within 6 inches of this priest model. The invulnerable saves of that model that unit receives from Shield of Faith. Oh, it just adds 1. So to a maximum of 4+. So still good to have these as stacking abilities, but typically you're going to have your Palatine with Indomitable Belief, and you're going to have an HQ choice that already gives you those abilities. So you're going to have a 4 invulnerable save across the entire army if you position your stuff correctly. Visions of Holy Piety. If this hymn is inspiring, select 1 friendly Adeptus Sororitas core character unit within core or character unit within 6 inches of this priest model. Select 1 Sacred Rite that is not active for your army. The Sacred Rite is active. Ooh. In addition. Okay, that's actually really, really, really good. So you can turn on the Sacred Rite that just denies psychic powers if you really want. You can add 1 to your advance rolls or charge rolls if you really want Hand to the Emperor. You can get the Passion and get even more hits in close combat. That's really good. I'm liking that. And the last one, if this hymn is inspiring, select 1 friendly Adeptus Sororitas core or Adeptus Sororitas character unit within 6 inches of this priest model. Each time a model in that unit would make a ranged attack with a bolt weapon, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 automatically wounds the target. If that attack targets a unit within half range, the armor penetration characteristic of that attack is improved by 1. This turns your 15-woman bolter squad into a devastating freaking shooting attack. I actually really like this one because I use large squads of sisters, so I honestly just like it. If you use it on heavy bolters, it's even funnier. But overall, my go-to ones are going to be the +1 attack. Possibly, let's see. I really like the just D3 mortal wounds, just out of nowhere. Just free D3 mortal wounds is really nice. This one is really good depending on your opponent's army. If they're using a psychic army, you want this one. If not, it's kind of useless. Let's see. The Vorp Invo save, the switching is really good. But honestly, I think I'm probably going to go with Warhymn and Catechism of Repugnance as the 2 that I'm mostly going to do. Or Refrain the Blazing Piety. Yeah, I think it's going to be those 2. Ooh. Or the one that switches to Sacred Rite. I really like that one as well. There's a lot here that I just like. Well, there's also 3 that I just don't think have a purpose unless you're tailoring your army against your opponent. Okay, so that is all of the base abilities, the Warlord Traits, the War Hymns, and the Blessings of the Faithful. In the next episode, we'll be going over the Relics. So we're getting through this Codex, and there's a lot to go into here. And I'm really interested to get into some of the battle traits. Well, not the Crusade rules. I never go over Crusade rules, mostly because I can't play Crusade at this current moment. But in the next episode, we'll be going over the Relics and the Sacred Rites. So stay tuned for that, and if you haven't already, check out my Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to help supporting the channel. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.